Alright, welcome back. If you're just tuning in and you haven't seen the previous two videos of this multi-part series, I'm gonna go ahead and link them down below. There should also be a card here. That way, if you're curious, you can catch up. But long story short, I am doing a maintenance overhaul on my Daytona Violet M3. I've had this car for over 3 years at this point, and this is just some long overdue maintenance. I have some news to break. You know, unfortunately, I just kind of have to face the reality here that this car may not make it in time for Lake 2.0 this year. Really, worst case scenario is I take my arguably more reliable car anyways, so I might take the 325 IS. We will see what happens, but unfortunately, I'm still waiting on some very crucial components to finish this car up, and with my incredibly limited time at the moment, there's not a lot that I can do. So I've come here today to hopefully get as much as I can actually knock out. Like everything that I have here, I should be able to theoretically finish installing, and then I should just be waiting on the final few things. So fair warning, if you are looking at this and you've been following the other videos, it looks a little bit more deconstructed than I left it off last video. For the sake of time, I removed the cooling system entirely off camera. This is something that I have documented before, so if you want to go back and find some videos where I kind of cover this, they're in there. And the only other thing I did off camera was do the oil change. That was just, you know, you guys have done oil changes or seen me do oil changes plenty of times. So that is done. The cooling system is taken apart. As you can see, the parts pile for this car has shrunk substantially because we've just gotten a lot done. So really, we have the water lines here. The thermostat finally showed up, the expansion tank, all the hose clamps. The only two pieces that I'm missing for the cooling system will be the thermostat housing and the thermostat housing gasket. All right, I'm back on the GoPro head cam. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this because I despise this camera. It is the worst. Anyways, so as you can see, we will be replacing both of these guys that come off of, I guess, what is this? This goes in the air box. Somebody can school me in the comments, but we do have both of these pieces you can see here and here. So we will go ahead and just take note of which one go where. We'll do the long guy first, but they sit in this little bracket. I mean, good thing we were replacing this. My God, look at this. All right, there's one. Bro, throw the whole car away. It's one way to get her off, I guess. All right, so as you can see here, we got 1 and 2 there. So, okay, so as you can see, we have everything and its replacement lined up here. So every hose was provided aside from, as I had mentioned, the main spider hose. This guy goes here as well. So everything else is here that I can replace. So I'm going to do that. Going to be, of course, extremely careful. And you'll see when this is back together. After I replace these 3 hoses, everything, water line, should be good aside from up here in the front, which we'll worry about when we drop the radiator in. But everything underneath and behind kind of the manifold, super important to just knock it out. So stoked that it's almost done. So as I was pulling the manifold off, I dropped the one in the rear. Always do that. And I saw it down here. And there it is. Cool. So can add that. These are the 11s for the manifold. So that was the final one. I knew I would find it, but so much easier when you have all that stuff out of the way. Alright, it is now Saturday. Last time I picked up the camera, I believe, was Wednesday. I haven't been able to get a lot done. I have 0 time to be here at the shop, but I am here now for a few hours, so hopefully I can get quite a bit done. Last weekend, I cleared out quite a bit of E36 parts, just threw a lot of stuff away, unfortunately, but it was just taking up too much space. Major downside to having part of the shop be a wood shop is there's just dust and spider webs and shit everywhere, and it's super hard to keep this area clean. Anyways, all that stuff is besides the point. We have a lot more to do today, and I think I actually have absolutely everything I will need to complete this car. The harsh reality is that I do not think that this car will make it to Tahoe. I have less than a week. The car is not even put back together, which is fine. I can get that all done today, hopefully. But I'm really not interested in putting all the test mileage on this car straight to a 8-hour round trip. So I don't think I'm gonna bring it. I've not driven this car past, a 10-mile radius for the better part of a year. So very hard to just commit to taking it on that long of a trip. As for an E30 update, I don't really have one. The ultimate plan is still to 24 valve swap this. I just don't think it's gonna happen soon. So if I can't take the M3 to Lake 2.0, that means I kind of have to take the 325, which is totally fine, but this car kind of looks like shit. It is kind of my daily because it gets the best gas mileage out of the fleet. So I definitely have a long list of things that need to be done if I am gonna take this car 4 hours. But I do know it will get me there. There's a lot of stuff I want to do beforehand. All right, so we're pretty much ready to wrap everything up and start putting everything back together. Last thing I need to install on the front of the engine here is the thermostat. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rest of this up, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall the thermostat. I finally got a gasket. So FCP Euro has let me down the last few weeks, and I've ordered everything I need, and they just have rescheduled my delivery over and over and over again, so I didn't have a gasket. Luckily, Zach had a gasket, so thank you, Zach, if you're watching this. I'm going to get that gasket. We'll go ahead and install the thermostat and put the thermostat housing on, and we'll be good.
See, it's back here. It actually it pushed everything back like a whole inch. It's pretty cool.
The thing sits in there nice, huh?
Yeah, dude, it's all like plug and play.
You can't even really tell unless you're looking for it.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty cool. But
looks pretty good. This is the 135, if you guys remember. Blue guy car. Big ethanol guy.
Yeah.
Super.
It's on E50 now.
I haven't been in this car since it's been on E, but it's fast without it, so I can only imagine. But car is looking crazy. You got yellow calipers. Anyways, modern day E36 pulled up. You know. Alright, alternator is now installed, fuel rail. I've just removed all the injectors because I will be doing the rebuild. I did this on the 325. Essentially, you're just kind of refreshing these, right, with new filters, new O-rings and spacers and stuff like that.
How do people live in Iowa? There's no way that place is real.
Iowa?
Yeah, bruh. Like, who the fuck names the state Iowa? Be for real.
Iowa.
I barely know it.
Iowa, I barely know it. There we go. That's why they named it Iowa.
For
Shit's
real.
fun to say. chat? Welcome back. The next day, I just can't catch a break. Seriously, I'm totally stretched for time at this point, and I've had to kind of just power through most of this, so I apologize that not a lot of it was on camera. It is complete. I still need to go buy distilled water so I can bleed the coolant system, but everything is complete at this point. Unfortunately, I just don't have enough time to road test this car before I leave for Tahoe. So it would essentially have no road test miles and go straight into an 8-hour plus road trip. And really, I would like to enjoy my weekend and not be stuck on the side of the road somewhere. While I am confident in my ability, there's just too many risk factors associated with pulling apart and putting back together as much as we did. If I was 16, I would probably just put the car back together as quick as possible and try. But again, I want to enjoy the weekend, have a good time. It's really not about the cars anyways, about hanging out with all the friends and stuff, catching up. So no problem, I'll be taking the white car. With that said, there's still quite a bit of prep I need to do on that car. So after school on Tuesday, whatever, I'll start prepping that car, and that'll probably be in a separate video. But really, all things considered, with the time limit and the time frame that I have had to work on this, I'm not too disappointed in what I actually got done. I think it turned out pretty good. The only thing that I absolutely hate in this whole setup is this silicone elbow from Rally Road. I went ahead and bought this for this car because in the white car I did the same system basically that you see here. Same formula, right? OEM plus cooling system, all silicone vacuum where I can, and the elbow worked great on the other car. This car was a nightmare. I'm not sure if they send these like extra long, but this one did not fit whatsoever. The actual diameter did not fit over the MAF. We had to force that thing to fit. We have the stock airbox, we have the plastic, OEM induction point here. So getting this to all fit super flush was a pain in the ass. I had to cut quite a bit of this off, and even then it still doesn't fit excellent. So I'm kind of irritated with this. This car, engine bay wise, I cannot stand. There's just so much I need to change about it. We tried to get it done, couldn't in time, but I got really close. And I appreciate my friends for helping along the way. Big shout out to Sebastian for coming out yesterday and helping me kind of speed run putting this manifold back together. We got pretty far, and I really appreciate when friends come and help, because really time is so limited, so that always helps out. So if you want to see me yank this S50 out, like, subscribe, share the video. Anything you do helps the channel grow and ultimately helps me do stuff like this. With that being said, I'll see you next video where hopefully we end up in Lake Tahoe with at least one of the cars.